Hi, my name is James Candelaria, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to create a full screen overlay using our new full screen overlay creation tool. When you first launch the tool, it's going to ask you what resolution the overlay is for. Most systems broadcast at 720p, so I'm going to choose that for this demonstration. As you can see, this brings up a blank canvas. From here, we can bring up the image resources window and drag and drop image resources as we see fit. So we're going to hit File, Image Resources. We're going to drag a few things into the window. First, we got to have our Sentinel logo, so we're going to drop that in. Since I've been racing SCCA for a little bit, we're going to bring in the SCCA logo, and we're going to bring in, let's see here, the Hoosier Racing Tire logo along with the Hawk Performance logo. Okay, now that we've got those on the screen, let's go ahead and make them appropriately sized and kind of position them where we want. In this case, the Sentinel logo is a little big, so we're going to reduce that by 50%. The SCCA logo is also a little too big. I like the size of the Hoosier Racing Tire logo, so we're going to leave that. We're going to put the SCCA logo here. We're going to reduce the Hawk Performance logo a couple of times. That looks pretty good. We can stack these on top of each other. And we can use our arrow keys to fine-tune the placement of these logos. As you can see, these logos are transparent so that we have a lot of flexibility in placing them without kind of having large bounding boxes. I'm going to move this Hoosier Racing Tire logo up a little bit so it kind of aligns better. And I also want to add the shop that built my Corvette. Their logo is here, Phoenix Performance. So we're going to go ahead and kind of put that here in a still a little too big. So let's reduce that to 75% of its size. That's starting to look a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to stick those kind of here. And now it's time to bring in some data elements. Actually, let's move the Sentinel logo more centered and towards the top. Okay, great. So now let's bring in some data elements. So inside the image resources area, we've included some image resources for um, data elements. I've given you a large data box, which is usually too large for anything, but we can reduce that size, bring in 2 of those. And then we brought in some smaller ones, which is over here. I like to use these for timing and scoring and stuff like that. So let's bring in a bunch of that. All right, so I'm going to put my timing and scoring stuff right here just for fun. Our best lap, our last lap, our current position, all that stuff will go kind of over here. Let's kind of roughly put them where we want. And these are way too big, so we're going to reduce these sizes a bunch. These are good for like things like timestamps and driver names, in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's say 75%. Now, one of the neat features we have here is the ability to align objects with other objects. So I'm going to click one object, and I'm going to right-click on the other object, and then hit Align X coordinates with the last clicked item. So now they're on the same horizontal plane. I'm going to click on the item again, and then I'm going to use my arrow keys to bring it to a vertical position that I think I want. Okay. Now we kind of have our data fields somewhat organized. We're going to add in a couple other things like how about flag status? I'll stick that over here. And now we're going to add the actual data fields. We do that by right-clicking here and finding the data field that we want. So we're going to want last lap. We're going to want best lap. Probably want our current position. And maybe lap number. Well, let's go ahead and drop that in there. And then I like to use the bigger fields for things like timestamps. So let's go ahead and put in timestamp. There we go. Drop that here. And then driver name. So we can drop that in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make these fonts more reasonably sized to fit the box. Great. So it looks like a 12-point font here should be just about right. I'll right-click this one. We're going to hit 12. Let's make them all 12 as long as they fit in the box. Looks like that's okay. Set font size to 12. These fonts can probably be bigger since they're in a bigger box. That looks pretty good. We'll go with 14. 14. Okay, great. Next, we are going to kind of move some stuff to center them in the box. Again, just click on them and then we can use our arrow keys to maneuver them to where we think they should fit. And in this case, I think these starting to look pretty good. Okay, one last thing I want to demonstrate is the ability to change the text color. So I like to always have my driver name stand out a little bit, so I'm going to right click that, set font color, we're going to set that to red. I like the timestamp to be pretty visible, so we're going to set that font color to blue. And now I think we have a reasonably attractive overlay. Except we forgot something important. We forgot to put in speed. So since Sentinel has a GPS, we can always get the GPS speed. For a bounding box, I've included this circle that's semi-transparent. So obviously it's a little big, so we're going to reduce the size a couple of times. Till there we go. Put that right there. And we're then going to add GPS speed to our overlay. Right click that, set font size to 35, and then center it in the box. All right, simple enough. Let's go ahead and now save our configuration. We're going to call this web demo. And now we can save and bring it back next time we want to edit it or maybe update our sponsor logos. With that in mind, our last step is to upload this configuration directly to the Sentinel. To do that, the first thing you're going to need to do is go to the web utility. You can see we're going to sign into the Sentinel config. We're going to go over to Advanced, and we're going to click Get Key File for Overlay Tool. That will automatically download the configuration file that you need. You need to actually copy this configuration file into the installation directory. The subdirectory called in keys is where you need to drop it. If you drop it into keys, then that's all you need to do, and then we can simply hit File, Upload to System, and it'll ask you what system you're uploading it to. That should be your serial number. In this case, we're going to go to Dev30, and we're going to upload it to Dev30 now. So next time Dev30 comes online, it will pick up the overlay tool. Now, it's important that you log out of the web configuration tool prior to starting your stream, because the web configuration tool has no way to know that you've uploaded a new config to the system. So if you go ahead and do any configuration from there prior to logging out and logging back in, your overlay may not work as expected. Okay, as you can see here, the system is running with its base default system overlay. And now we're going to go ahead and upload it directly from the tool and see what happens. We're going to do File, Upload to System. We're going to choose Dev30 and watch what happens. As you can see here, we now have the system running with the brand new overlay as we designed it, simply uploaded directly from the configuration tool. So that about covers it for the new Sentinel full screen overlay configuration tool. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you and happy streaming.